Hey guys, my name is Dr. Film, and no, I'm not qualified to be a doctor. Before we begin, you should know that this review will contain no spoilers. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe for reviews and more. And so, without further ado, let us begin reviewing Leave the World Behind.
Cast and characters.
Now, the characters in this movie were, at the very least, engaging, as you see them surveying this dark crisis they're experiencing. Now, you gotta give props to some of the cast members, for they delivered some pretty solid performances, and they can come off as pretty relatable. Although, I have to admit, some of the characters in this movie can come off as either weird or obnoxious. Not to mention, whenever you see our characters having a conversation or two, there are moments in the film where you find yourself invested in their conversations, but there are other moments during the movie where the dialogue can come off as weird at times. And there are some scenes where the conversations between our characters can make you feel dozed off, due to the film's uneven pacing. Now, I'm not saying it's the actor's fault for any of this, and some of you could argue that this is how some people would talk if they were dealing with a crisis situation like this. And to be fair, if these characters weren't played by these famous actors like Ethan Hawke or Julia Roberts or Kevin Bacon, I probably would have skipped the dialogue scenes altogether. And speaking of actors, did you know that Denzel Washington was initially attached to this project?
What?
Apparently he was cast to play the character G.H. Scott, but Denzel dropped out, and he was replaced by this guy. It's so crazy to think that Denzel Washington was initially going to appear in this movie but dropped out. I mean, man, I can only imagine what he would say right now if he was in this movie.
I would do anything to protect my family. What you do is your business.
King Kong ain't got on me!
Sounds about right.
Suspense and music.
Now, to the filmmaker's credit, this film is so dripping with suspense and dread, especially when you feel the characters' anxiety, frustration, and fear. And even when nothing serious is happening, you would still feel the sense of intensity, like something is coming. You don't know what's going to come, but at the same time, you're afraid to know what it is. I mean, seriously, it was dripping with so much atmosphere and suspense. I was like, stop it! It's like spiders are crawling all over me. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, the music in this film there are no words to describe it. It sounds like something out of a Twilight Zone episode. Don't believe me? Well, listen here. Yeah, let's never play that music again. That's just...
You were scared, weren't you?
Okay, let's just move on. Let's just move on before it plays again.
The story.
Now, for those who don't know, this movie is based on a novel with the same name, and this film is directed and written by Sam Esmail, who you may recognize his work in Mr. Robot. And I thought the story in this film was pretty fascinating. At times. Now look, I get the whole idea they were going for here, but let's be real here, the whole idea about a cataclysmic event where all of our technology shuts down sounds pretty intriguing. But the thing is, this concept has been done before in countless other movies and forms. And we have seen the same old philosophical debates about humanity, survival, what is right and what is wrong. It's all been done before. But a little leeway I'll give this story is the ending. Without revealing any spoilers, all I can say is that the ending of this film does make this whole experience worth the watch. And as soon as the movie was over, I was left to myself thinking, what? No. Wait. Oh my gosh. What?
Are you serious?
I mean, hey, it could have been worse. The film could have ended like this.
No, they did it! They blew it up! And then the apes blew up their society too! And then the birds took over and ruined their society! And then cows! And then, I don't know, is that a slug maybe? No!
Can you imagine if the film ended like that? Oh my gosh, this film would have tanked at the box office.
You're right.
Overall, my friends, this movie isn't exactly the greatest I've seen, but it still was intriguing to watch. So yeah, despite the uneven pacing and some of the weird dialogue, this film does have intriguing qualities that you can't ignore, such as the cast, the performances, the suspense, the eerie, dreadful music. And while the theme message of this movie may have been done before in the past, this film, to its credit, showed us the extent of what would happen if the world's technology was suddenly compromised. And when you really think about it, we are literally living in the age of technology. Our phones, our cars, not to mention when you really consider what's been happening in today's world now, this film gave me some frightening chills. Heck, it gave my father freaking goosebumps when he was watching the movie with me. And if you ask me, I think they should have gone towards making this movie into a TV series, especially when you consider how the film ended. Again, it's not the greatest movie I've seen, but it still was decent, and I recommend checking it out. With all that said, I give Leave the World Behind a 7.5 out of 10. Well guys, that's the end of my review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. And please follow me on Instagram for updates on my channel. And you can also follow me on TikTok for fun content and more. And as always, I will see you guys at our next appointment.